Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is the Topoint Breth. So it's new from Topoint, and I think it's replacing the Topoint Serenity. So Serenity has been a cheap, inexpensive target compound bow from Topoint. It's about 36 inches axle, about 7-inch brace height, roller cable guard, and adjustable module cams. So this bow I think was $600. This bow is going to be $800. So it's basically the same specs, IBO of 330 feet per second, 7-inch brace height, weighs 4.26. They feel about the same. The grip feels like a PSE grip, metal grip. One sight hold position, lower stabilizer position there. American limbs, the limb thing is like a Matthews here to put on. This stops, so it's to go in the bow press there. It's to stop the limbs breaking if you dry fire the bow, or to hopefully stop it breaking if you dry fire the bow. It's a machine riser as opposed to a cast riser. So other specs, so it comes in 40, 50 or 60 pounds. The draw length is adjustable from, so the draw length is adjustable from 26 to 30 inches. It also comes in a smaller cam option to reduce the draw length. So now I got asked a question about how much will this wind down in poundage. It can wind down 4 turns, and that's about 13 pounds. You can see on the back here of the bolt how much you've got left to wind it out. So don't wind it out too far. A lot of the Topoint bows you can wind out a long way. It's not the case with this, and generally not the case for a lot of the top-end compounds. So low-end compounds, lots of adjustment, top-end, very little adjustment. Part of that will be because as you wind down the bow, all the string tension on the cables and the strings come off the bow, and the bow becomes less efficient, so you don't want that for a top-end bow. So the cams on this and the cams on the Serenity are the same, and also the same on the top-of-the-line Topoint X40 and the Reliance. So the Reliance is this one. It's got the same cams, machine riser. This has got a roller slide. This has got a cable slide. This bow, like if you're happy for me to guess, about $900. This one's coming in at $800. Now I'm not sure if that means the Reliance is going to go up in value or whether up in price, or whether this is just because the Australian dollar's crashed compared to the US dollar. So a little bit of a cheaper bow, but I'm going to say it's up in price on what you'd expect it to be, but still very cheap compared to the American bows of a similar sort of quality. So let's go down, and I'm going to say how you adjust the draw length. It's got a screw there, and on the back it's got A, B and C, where E is the longest and A is the shortest. So it'd be nice to have a chart to say what A and E are on draw length, but that doesn't come with it. Metal limb pockets. Let's go down and take a shot and see how it is. Okay, so I'm at 18 meters. I'm not at 18 meters. I'm close to the target, so we're going to try throwing this bow. This should feel like all the other Topoint bows with this same cam system, because it's the same cam system. This will feel very much like a, I'm going to say like a PSE, similar cam system with the yoke. This yoke is similar to a Matthews yoke system to balance the cam system, to balance the limbs. So this is on 60. It's quite easy here. Feels all the same poundage all the way back. I'm starting to get into a valley there, very small valley, so we're going to take this shot. So when I take the shot, the bow moves like this, and you'll see it's not balanced. Now the Topoint hunting bows are balanced in your hand, so they sit straight up and right, up and down. This bow wants to move backwards. That's because this is a target bow. It's designed to be shot with a stabilizer. If you were going to shoot it without a stabilizer, you'll need to add weight down the bottom here or down the bottom here. Now I'm going to compare it to the Reliance from Topoint Reliance. The Reliance comes with a roller cable slide. A roller cable slide that you see on many bows like the Elites, I'm going to say some Hoyts have got it, most companies have it today. Less vibration forward because the cables are not moving backwards and forwards, so you get less vibration. There's advantages to this as well. It creates less string tension on the cables, so less chance to torque the bows. So you'll see a lot of the PSEs still use cable slides. Look, I don't know if it's a marketing thing from PSE. I prefer the roller slides as a concept because I feel less vibration with them. So if I was going to choose between this and the Reliance, I'll absolutely choose the Reliance. If I was going to choose between the Breth and the Serenity, I'll absolutely choose the Serenity. The grip feels very similar, if not identical, to a PSE to hold. The draw is easy at 60 pounds. It feels nice. It's got a short draw. It's a nice feeling bow to shoot. Like I said, the upwards motion, and you'll feel the same on any of the target bows, like your PSE Supras. I'm not going to say your Verdict because I've shoot that with the stabilizer. The Result from Elite, your Hoyt Stratoses will all have this type of feel. You can see the limbs are not parallel, so you'll get a lot of force moving forward. That's quite common for a target bow. If the limbs are more parallel, then the forces cross out each other, so you feel less shock. So this design is very much like a Supra, and I'll just grab a Supra to show you. So this is a PSE Supra, and you can see the limb angles are identical. Absolutely identical limb angles. So it feels like a Supra to shoot. So the Supra price, to compare like the Supra sells for, I think, about $2,000 today. Your Supra's got a yoke system. This has got a yoke system. Very similar cams. Machine riser. Cable slide. $800, $2,000. I'm going to say PSE have got amazing warranty on their bows. They both have the same limbs. Amazing warranty on PSE. Topoint, the parts are cheap. So if you dry fire your bow and derail your bow, and I'm always going to stress both of those, we get about 3 a day in the store. People dry firing their bows and derailing their bows, right? So 3 a day we get, and it's almost a thing when we sell a bow now. We've got to, well, I mean, we tell people anytime, it's just people forget, or the mate draws back the bow and blows it up. Look, the parts are going to be cheaper for Topoint, and that's not normally a warranty. You might get away with it if you ask nicely. They'll replace the parts, but look, the parts are cheap. Like the limbs on an American bow, you're looking around $400. These are American limbs from Gordon Glass, and I'm going to pull a number out there, maybe $100. So same product, $100, $400. Okay, so I'm really happy with the way this bow feels and stuff. We're going to set it up at 18 meters now. I don't have a peep sight. I'm going to take this little tag off because it gets in the way. We're going to sight the bow in an 18 and see how well I shoot with 18. Now, with all target bows, I don't shoot as well as a hunting bow because the bow is not balanced. I would shoot this bow much better if it was balanced with the stabilizer out the front, which is how this bow's been designed. But saying that, I think I'll shoot fine with it, so let's go and give it a shot. Okay, so I've sighted the bow in. So first thing I'm going to talk about is maximum poundage. This is a 60-pound bow. The maximum poundage through the weight machine I could get was 58. Now, some people are pedantic about stuff. I'm not a pedantic person. I'm always about the archer and not the equipment. All right, so that wouldn't worry me at all. But if you're one of those pedantic people who goes, look, I really want that extra 1 pound, I don't know why, you're going to need to shorten the cables. Shorten the cables or lengthen the string. Okay, so you're going to need to pull these limbs basically closer together. Okay, how many twists would it take for you to get 2 pounds, maybe 3 twists on the cables? Now you might say, well, that's not good enough for Topoint. Okay. Maybe Topoint should put them on a bow scale, and that's what happens at PSC and all those companies I've been to. They put them. There's a person who builds them. There's a person who puts them on a scale and twists up the cables until they hit the poundage. Okay. Look, I think this bow is nice to shoot. I think it's nice and comfortable to draw back. I'm very, very solid back wall. I'm very comfortable shooting it. It very much reminds me of shooting a PC Supra, which is a fantastic target bow that I've shot for years and years. This bow, it feels just the same. It feels nice. I'm very happy with drawing it. Like it's 58 pounds, and I'm drawing this bow back really easy. I've hit the target. I've hit the center once. This target is bigger than I normally shoot. This is I'm a little bit further back than 18. This is a bigger target face. It's for 25 meters, it's a 60 centimeter target face and not a 40 centimeter target face. So I'm not doing this to try and make this bow look better. I don't know how it's going to shoot, but I was shooting this target face last night when I was practicing indoors here because it was blowing a gale outside and I had bad lighting conditions, so I just put a bigger target face on. So, all right, let's shoot and see how we go. So the bow holds really, really steady. I feel like I'm aiming with it really well. Look, the Reliance from Topoint, I'm going to guess the Serenity has less vibration. Okay, I would say the vibration on this is equivalent to the PSC Supra. I would say, there's other bows which have got, more vibration. So it's very similar. Like if you've got a limb design like this, it's designed to sort of move forward in your hand. So, but the Reliance is deader because it's got a roller cable slide. And it's like, I really like the bow. I like the vibration. This is 36 inches axle. The Reliance comes in 36 and 38. I've just replaced all my pins on my Victories because I literally just replaced 12 pins because I shoot the nocks off and the pins get blown away. These arrows are so old they'd have to be 4 or 5 years old, and I don't think I busted an arrow. I probably have, but I don't recall it. But I would have replaced 200, 300, 400 pins on these arrows. They're amazing. I've got no collars on them. You can see the condition of my veins. Like occasionally the arrows get refletched. But they're an amazing arrow. Victory is amazing. I sound like I'm doing a sales job for Victory, but these arrows, like, they're 4 or 5 years old. And look, I really like it. The bow breaks away easy. The let off on the bow, I'm going to guess what it feels like. It doesn't feel like 80. It feels more like a 75% let off. So when you get in the valley, you're in the valley, but it's easy to let this bow down because it doesn't really drop off into the valley. It's not like it. It's a very smooth drop off, and I'll just sort of demonstrate that. So we draw that back. And just letting it down, it doesn't hurt my shoulders at all letting the bow down. Some bows do. Alright, so this bow feels nice. I like the geometry of the riser. I think it looks nice. I think it looks better than the Serenity. Just geometrically. I'm not sure it shoots better than the Serenity. Or the TS3550. They had the same bow with 2 different names. So funny, I've got no idea where these arrows are going. Look, this one's got a bent point. And I've only just replaced the pins, and I've chosen, these are the cheap Pandarus nocks, just because they're cheap. Now, these nocks are probably less than 50 cents each. Your Easter knock is about close to $3 each. Your Biter knock's around $2 a knock. Biter's going to say his knocks are better. I'm not going to disagree. They are better. It's just I go through a whole bunch of knocks. And like that was 12 knocks, so that would be like $24 worth of knocks. And I'm like, I just rather the cheaper knocks. In fact, the owner of Pandarus messaged me today. He said, oh, you had a customer complain that one of his arrows that he got, the knock was broken when he got it. He said, did he message you? And I was like, no, I didn't see the message. Now, it's possible he did because I've got a couple of email accounts and I do get a couple of hundred emails a day and someone probably didn't mention it. So it is possible, but I don't think he did because people generally tell me about all the complaints. I'm like, it's a 40-cent knock. 50-cent knock. To post something out is $10. It's a 40-cent knock. Like if you're ordering something, hey, and said, hey, can I have a spare knock? I would chuck it in because it's 40 cents. I just don't understand when people... Anyway, like I shoot these knocks, I shoot them with all my recurves. Like if I was shooting a fast hunting bow, I probably wouldn't shoot them. I'd shoot a different knock. But like these have been fine for me. In fact, one of my staff, he was shooting these knocks because we were kind of just discussing it today. And he shot the national, he came first nationally with them in recurve bare bow. He shot, I'm going to get everything wrong that he shot a national record with them and then did something on target where he, basically won. And it's like, so he's got, all these records with these 40-cent knocks. He goes, look, we've got this thing that the equipment doesn't make a difference as to how much you train. And that's probably not what you're going to want to hear. So let's shoot one more. Look, I like the bow. I like the bow more than I thought I would at the start of this review. Because at the start of this review, I was like, why would you buy this bow? I'd buy the Serenity, I'd buy the Reliance. The Reliance is $100 more and you've got the roller cable guard and it's adjustable. But now after shooting it, I'm like, well, this is a pretty sweet bow. It feels good, shoots good. What I'm getting is I'm getting a bit of, my left eye is starting to take over from the right eye. So I'm getting a bit of double vision. So just if that occurs, just close your left eye. Okay, so if you're at a competition or you're just shooting, one eye starts taking over from the other, you'll start to see it because you'll start getting double vision. Because this is my dominant eye from shooting. And it's used to focusing. The other eye is basically looking at the thing, so it's getting like two visions. It's more than common. Just close the other eye, and the other eye will sort of take over. All right, let's go down and see how the group is. Look, when I do these reviews, I never know how they're going to turn out because sometimes I shoot terrible and I feel really bad. And, some of the bow companies have a go at me because I shouldn't have done the review when the bow blows up or whatever, or when things fall off, right? But look, I couldn't see. Look, 2 arrows down line, that'll be me. Now, when I do these reviews, I do it with a whisker biscuit. I haven't tuned the bow. I just basically put everything on the bow just as the shop was closing. So the shop closes at 3 o'clock. I bolted the sight on, I bolted the rest on, fixed the D-loop in, and the customers were here. Like, the shop was full of people when I'm doing it. And I checked the bow poundage, wound it down to check the bow poundage, and then I come and shot it at 3 o'clock, right? That was it. There's no peep sight, there's no nothing. And that's amazing shooting. Like, really, really good shooting. I'm not having a go at saying how well I shoot. This is really good shooting for me. In fact, after the heart surgery, I've been struggling with the weight of my bow. And this is my compound, my verdict from Elite. I've been struggling with the weight of it because I've got so much weight on it, and that was just so easy to draw back and shoot. I felt a bit of pain in the chest when I was doing this review just then, but it felt comfortable the whole time. And I'm going to go back again to, it gets back to the shooter, but that's a lovely bow to shoot. I'm going to just talk a little bit about Topoint. So Topoint, Chinese company, and a lot of Americans are going to say, look, they copy patents and all that. I don't know who pays what for patents and who pays what and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how patents work, and I don't pretend to know. All I've got is I've got a product, and I'm like, is this product any good, and how does it compare in the marketplace? And when customers come into my shop, they're like, I've got $100 to buy a bow. What can you do for me? Right, so that's my average customer who comes into my shop. I'm not having a go at the other people. I get people who come in and go, I've got $2,000, right? But the average person who comes in as a beginner comes in and goes, look, I want to spend this amount of money, okay? And it's generally at the lower end. This is where Topoint excel, right? The American bows, I feel, have really priced themselves out of the market in beginner's market. I don't know how that occurred. I don't know how that feels in America for Americans. But I know in Australia, it definitely feels now that American bows have been outpriced in the beginner market, and they're really just aiming at the elite market. And I'm going to pick on Hoyt. I'm going to pick on Hoyt, like their recurves. They only do a top end recurve. They don't do beginner recurves. If you want beginner recurves, you've got to go Fivix, you've got to go Win and Win, you've got to go to all those other companies, Samek, you've got to go for all those Chinese companies, right? And it's because of the margins are bigger on the big end products. That's why I think it is, right? Now, I'm watching Topoint. I'm going to throw up some pictures of the Topoint factory. It's amazing. Like I've been through the other factories. The thing that strikes me about Topoint, which is different to the other factories I've been to, they just make bulk stuff. So they make all these risers in all these different colors, and then they put them on the shelf and they hope someone buys them. And that's different to the American companies. With the American companies, you go, I want a red Super with white limbs or whatever, or a Bowtech with red with white limbs, and they make it for you. So they'll grab the parts, they grab the limbs, and sometimes you've got to wait for the limbs to be sprayed, or sometimes you've got to wait for those cams to be made, and then they'll make it for you, and then they make all the rest of your orders, and then they go, we've got this many bows ready for you, we'll ship it out. Right? So that's the way it works for me with the American companies. It's a little bit different for the Americans buying from American companies because they tend to ship bow at a time because freight costs are much less. Okay. But China, they just make like you see these pictures of hundreds of these target bows all built in all these colors, and maybe they're all sold to Europe. And I know they make lots of stuff for lots of other companies, and a lot of these Chinese companies are now trying to brand their own products. I'm just going to look at my arrows, but they try to brand their own products and create their own brands. But it's very interesting for me watching this evolve and how it plays out. For me, being a shop owner, I think it's going to be that for beginners, they will basically buy Chinese gear. And then at the top end archers, it will basically be they'll buy American prestige product. I feel that's the way it's going to go. where before the Chinese and the American products were very similarly priced. There wasn't a lot of difference. And you went, well, China's $100 cheaper than the American product, but you get all this lifetime warranty with the American product. It's now no longer the case. The American product is twice the price in most cases to the Chinese product, and then you go, well, the parts are cheap for the Chinese product. In fact, I'm getting to the point now where I'm just going to stock all the Chinese parts. So when people dry fire their bows and blow them up, I've got the parts. And I'm going to say that with the cheaper Chinese products, when you dry fire the bows and derail the bows, less likely to have a problem because there's not as much energy in the bow that there is in a high performance bow. So when I had the full throttles from PSE, someone talks that thing that the whole bow is just blowing up. It used to scare me that people blow them up. Saying that, I've still got my full throttle from 10 years ago. So my summary of the Breth, I think the price, I'd like to see the price a little bit lower. I'm not sure if that means the Reliance will go up, the Serenities will go up, but I'd like the price a little bit lower. But compared to the Americans, I think it's really well priced. I think the bow shoots well. It feels like a Supra to shoot. Comes in lots of great colors. It comes in 2 cams, 26 to 30, and I think it's 27 to 24. If you're 27, then you go for the other one. If you're 26, like there's a crossover. You generally want to be towards the maximum. So if I generally wouldn't want this bow on 26, I wouldn't want the Breth on 26. If it's the bigger one, I'd want the other cam. And how much difference does that make? Nothing. It's just that would be my preference, right? So it wouldn't make any difference in scores. That'd be my preference. Bigger cams are a bit smoother to draw than the smaller cams. So the bigger cam, I think the theory is the bow set on maximum draw length is a little bit more performance associated with it, but I haven't seen any of that in all my shooting that I've ever done. So it's all much for muchness. But Topoint, great colors, parts are cheap. The warranty is not as good as your American products, so I don't think you've got a lifetime warranty. I think it's about 1 year with the Chinese. Saying that, I haven't had a warranty claim. So, and I've sold thousands of them. I haven't had any warranty claims with Topoint, which is amazing, but I don't think that performance enough to cause all the dry fires and all the explosions I see on a daily basis. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and remember, the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot, and just go do it, and don't blame the equipment, blame yourself. There's a bit in the equipment, but not as much as everyone worries about. Literally, it's all day on the phone, people worrying about their equipment, and we're like, just go shoot. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.